Hello everyone, welcome to Triple T Thursday. That stands for Tips, Tricks, Talktorials. I am your host, Shelly, also known as Shelly Saves the Day, and I'm so excited to be here with y'all today, and I have a topic in mind that I want to discuss with you all, and that is community and collaboration over competition. What do you mean by that, Shelly, you may ask? Well, it's so funny that you would ask that because we're going to be talking about that for like the next 45 minutes, so if you're confused, hang tight. We're getting into it. And also, let's ask the ever important question. What's in your cup today? Even though it is, yes, sparkling ice, it's a new flavor. It is lemonade as opposed to strawberry and lemonade. So sometimes you just gotta change things up. Not always. I'm going back to strawberry and lemonade soon, but I thought I would share that. But let me know what's in your cup. Now, it tastes good. So something that has been on my mind today. Hello, Adam's Exploits. It's really nice to see you. Poland Springs water, perhaps? I want to talk about collaboration and community over competition. Now, that has long since been something that has always been on my brain, and I am not one of those people who believes that everyone who is making YouTube content or something, it's some success pie, right? We've talked about that, and there's only so much of it to go around, and if someone else has more, it somehow means you have less. I have never been like that. I've always been like, come on in. Here's some information. Here's everything that I've learned. Here's what I can share with you. Here's how I can teach you. Here's, and I want to teach and give and share. And over my course of years that I've been doing this, I've come across other people who also feel very much similarly or the same way. And I think it's a beautiful thing because I want to chat about this a little bit. So first of all, this has come back into my life recently. And you may be like, what's up? It's a camera. And why I have this camera is because I recently got it back from someone that I loaned it to, someone in my community or who was not in my community just that long ago. So I met them at the Creators and at the what did they call it? The YouTube community party that was happening that was hosted by Andrew Edwards and Benji Travis. So that was held at Chef Steps in Seattle, and it was just a great day to be part of that creator collective. And I met a creator there. Her name is Tina, and she has a YouTube channel. She's also very big on TikTok and Instagram. And unfortunately, during our time there, her camera accidentally got bumped and knocked over and was broken. And I know she was really upset about it. And I had seen it on her Instagram story. And so when I saw it, I reached out to her and I said, hey, just FYI, I happen to have an extra camera, which was this camera, right? And I'm not really doing anything with it right now. So if you need to borrow a camera while you get yours fixed, I'm more than happy to loan it to you. And it turned out that it is the exact camera that she was, the style of camera that she was using. So she was very familiar with it. And she was very grateful because she also had an upcoming brand deal with Taco Time and some other companies. And she needed to have her rig, her gear, her setup. And, because she didn't have any other equipment, she would have just had her phone, which of course you can do amazing things with your phone. And side note, there's a great video on Twitter that Jonathan Morrison posted about how the iPhone 15 Pro Max saved his life, and how even though Austin Evans and all of the community kind of got together and gave him a new camera, that he was going to continue shooting video on it, and that he was really grateful. He said it like kind of saved his life. And I jumped in on that thread and I was like, honestly, I love shooting with my iPhone now so much more so than, this vlog camera that was going to be for me to make content. I'm like, it's just so much easier on the phone. And I know that there are some instances where a camera is always going to be better, right? But those things don't necessarily apply to me in the way that I shoot. And I'm not a huge into vlogging, although I have been considering wanting to do more of it. And so I was like, for me, honestly, I need something small and portable, and I like the idea of having the phone. So I think I'm going to be selling this rig, this getup, because it's not really doing me a ton of good when it's just sitting here. And so, but for her, it was, and that happened, in April or something, April, May, something like that. And subsequently, since then, she's gotten married. And so big things going on in her life. But so I just got the camera back and, she was really grateful. And I was like, I'm really glad that I could provide that for someone in my community and a friend of mine, right? And it also got me thinking. So today I actually posted a video over on my beauty YouTube channel. And if you're not in the know, right now I think it's 618 hours away from the 1,000 hours that from the 4,000 hour mark to get, that second level, the real level of monetization, right? So I did want to put a video out, and I was thinking and, kind of racking my brain, like, what do I really want to talk about? What do I really want to share over there right now? And I had a couple ideas, but then, a friend of mine reached out that I went on the Creators and Friends trip in New Orleans, and she's so sweet. And she's like, would you be interested in receiving my palette that I'm collaborating with Ofra Cosmetics on as as PR or something? And it was really, really sweet. And she didn't have to do that. And I was very honored that she even reached out, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, of course. Then I felt like a dunderhead, because I'm going to tell you all this story. I watched a video or something like that, and it said that this palette was a really good companion palette to her first original launch that she had with the company, because there have been 2 launches and this is the second iteration. And I was like, if it's a companion thing, I really should go get the companion thing and support my friend. And so I decided to order it. And so I didn't want to make the video until I had gotten the original companion palette here in my possession. And then I was going to film both, right? Like a look using the original palette and then her new palette. And so I waited until I got it, and other people got videos up and everything. And I felt kind of bad because I didn't want her to think I'd forgotten about her. Or I didn't want to do it. But I waited. I got the palette yesterday. I did it yesterday because I filmed it yesterday, I got it yesterday, and I put it out yesterday, or I put it out today. I finalized it and put it out this morning. But I felt like a dunce because I opened it, and she was kind enough, had I looked, to gift me her original palette as well. But I didn't know that because I hadn't opened the package yet, because I wanted to open it on camera and have it be all a surprise. And I was surprised, I'll tell you that. So, but it was really sweet. But that is why I put out a video over on the beauty channel, is because I wanted to help support her launch. And it also kind of made me think about, we're going full circle here. The train is going someplace, I promise. And Adam is saying, I saw your dog video earlier today. Is that not a thing with dog owners where you're just so excited for them to do their business? Or in our house, we call it business, with a D. Business. We're always cheer, yeah, way to go, buddy, it's solid, it's not runny, it's oh, we're proud of you. And I'm like, I don't know what it is with dog parents, and we talk about, was it okay today, or because sometimes there's tummy problems. So okay, so I know I'm not the only one though, right? I know I'm not the only one to talk about these things, and that's fine. That is fine. One thing I'm going to do while we're talking about this here. But so I was thinking about that, and the fact that even though I'm not still a ton in the beauty world, my friends don't hold that against me, and they still include me in their, things to be celebrated and launched. And she didn't have to do that. And it also got me thinking, because I was linking the original video where another friend had a launch with that same company, and it was 3 years ago. And I was like, wow, it's so cool that companies sometimes will continue to collaborate with people, and the thing about them is they're not people who always have the largest YouTube channels. Hey, Latrell Jennings, what's up? How you doing? Good to see ya. What's new in your world? What's happening? Tell me all the things. Okay, so we're just chatting. Also, what's in your cup today? What's in your cup today? Tell me all the things. Where were we? You guys got to keep me honest because I will literally go off track all the time, right? Do this. So it reminded me, though, of the time previously when my other friend had a collaboration with them, and they also had sent me that. And it just reminded me that this company is just really good about collaborating with what you might call like smaller creators. And it's really cool that they do that. Now, one of the people that was previously a collaborator, so her name is Samantha March. And what's interesting about that is two things. One, struggling to watch on the airplane. Oh no. You know what? I appreciate you so much for even attempting. That is something. I'll tell you what, that is, we're doing good, man. We're doing good. But, you know what? I am honored that you would spend your airplane Wi-Fi on a stream trying to keep up with it. Really, I'm honored about that. So, really. Okay. So that company that I mentioned previously, that she was collaborating with, her name is Samantha. One, it was 2020, and she was launching this palette, and she had put me on the invite list to go down to see the release of this palette. And it was in Florida, which is where I guess they are kind of headquartered out of. And it was just incredibly kind of her to do that. And it reminded me of another friend of mine. Her name is Jen, and she also had a collab with them, and she also sent me something. It was a thing of liquid lipsticks. So this company is not only great at collaborating with the others, but those people who are my friends have tried to include me in a lot of those things. So I think that's really sweet. We're in 144. And so Samantha, her motto is community over competition. And she recently just launched a new website as part of her business with her friend, my friend too, Simbri Cologne. And she goes by Simbri Thinks online. And they just launched a brand new website, and it's called the Creators and Friends Events. And so the Creators and Friends Events, that is the community that I went to two different events, you know, the one that was in New Orleans and then the one that was in Charleston. And they're doing another one in Palm Springs in September. I wasn't invited to that one, which is fine because they have to rotate the people that they invite so that they can invite more people. And then I believe there's also Florida on the docket. And one of the things that was also really nice in this whole fostering of community over competition is the brands that they come in and partner with kind of really believe in that ethos as well. And so one of the brands that was on the original brand trip was Charleston, was the BK Beauty brand. And so we actually got to meet Lisa J, who has a YouTube channel, and she started BK Beauty, which coincidentally today is their 5-year birthday / anniversary. And they are currently, I think, still running some sales over on TikTok. They're doing these flash sales and TikTok shop for their products, which kudos to them for getting into TikTok shop. Kudos to them for getting newly launched into Amazon. It's very, very exciting times for them and getting recognized for just being amazing and an amazing brand. And really also believing in the community over competition. And so what's funny is, again, I don't do a lot of beauty videos, but I used several of those BK Beauty brushes in the video that just went out on the beauty channel today. And I was just thinking to myself, like, before, I would just find one of my friends, probably who was on that trip, who had a code for BK Beauty, and I include it in the description box. And I'm like, hey, so if you want to buy any of these brushes, you can use their affiliate discount code to save yourself some money. Because I don't believe it was like a big deal to, like, you know, give a code for someone else to make some money. Like, I don't care, especially if I can't. You know, like, it's fine. And hopefully Florida in the fall or winter. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's in the spring, actually. And so any other time I've ever used a BK Beauty brush, let's say, and linked it and I put it in my description box, I always use one of my friends' affiliate codes. But then yesterday I was like, you know what? I wonder if I just reached out to them, you know, if they would give me a code. And so I reached out, which is very unlike me anyway, to just be like, hey, and it wasn't me saying like, I want free product. It was just saying like, hey, you know, how would I go about getting a discount code for my followers if they wanted one? Because I looked for it on this one website, but it's not coming up, or I don't know how to do it. So, and they were really kind and they're like, yeah, we'll get you set up. And I thought that was really cool. So, I mean, I still don't have a code yet, but when I do, I'll put it in the description and people can save some money, which is great. But as part of the whole community over competition thing, I have no problem helping any of my friends get a commission on it if, you know, it also helps viewers save some money and help my friend make some money. Again, because I'm not in that way trying to be like, well, I'm not going to link it or I'm not going to do anything unless I can get paid for it too. That's just never been my MO, because I just don't feel like we need to do that to one another, right? And to that point, I even put out a post to a lot of the people that went on that trip, and I was like, hey, I'm creating a database of like discount codes. So if you have one, like, and you want to include it, like, I'll just take the first discount code for each one of these sites that, you know, comes my way, if there are multiples, and I will put it on this list. And, you know, if people want to look at it and save some money, that's totally cool. If they don't want to look at it and save some money, that's also totally cool. But that's the type of thing where, like, it costs zero money to reach out to your friends and be like, hey, do you want me to share your discount code? And I remember someone being like, oh my gosh, wow, you're really doing that. I'm like, why wouldn't I do that? Or one of the girls, like, y'all know I have an Etsy shop. Where are they? They're over there. And I've been doing those makeup swatch stickers, and I've sold several actually recently, like people buying like 10 at a time or something. And so it's really kind of fun and exciting. And let that also be a lesson in processes and improvement where, you know, if I already have some like cut up, which is great, like in my inventory, but for the rest, I can actually, I have them stored as templates. So in the event of someone ordering them and I don't have them in stock, I can actually just cut them and like really quickly, like fairly quickly, and then just reuse that process over and over again if I need to. And so like I said, I'm not a makeup girly, but I went on this trip with all these makeup girlies. And so I was like, excuse me. I said, hey, if anyone does makeup swatches on their channel or in their Instagram and stuff, I have makeup swatch stickers, and I'm more than happy to just bring a whole bunch and you can use them. You don't have to tag me. You don't have to link me. You don't have to say anything. But if you want them, I'll just bring them. And there were a whole bunch of people that were like, oh my God, yes. And in fact, my friend that just launched that collaboration that I dropped that beauty video on my channel, on my beauty channel today, used one of them. I didn't realize it in her reveal video. And it was like little kitty cats. And I was like, oh, it made me so happy and so proud that I was a little bit part of her launch video in some small way. It just made me so happy. And, but one of them reached out and said, hey, like, do you want me to link your Etsy shop? And I'm like, hey, like, you're more than welcome to. If you want, like, I'll give you a discount code for your followers. And, you know, and she's like, really? I'm like, why wouldn't I do that? If you're going to help me, I can definitely. And it's not like I make any money off them, right? It's just a little fun something to do. But again, it really isn't like if I'm giving 10% to her and 10% to her audience, it's not that big of a deal to me because I make no money on the stickers. It's not a big deal. And the stickers are like, you know, $2. So they would have to sell a lot of them to make a lot of money in the first place. But I still think that it's just the right thing to do. And I feel like some people don't think about it that way. And I have felt, I will say, in the past years, where sometimes I feel like you can't give with the expectation to give. I get that. But sometimes you're like, hey, is someone going to recognize me? Is someone going to like acknowledge? Does someone like give back? Any of that stuff sometimes, you know? And it's strange when you think about how sometimes people are looking, people are watching, people are recognizing or appreciating, and you just don't know it. And I got an email this week actually in my inbox, and I was so surprised to get it. And the Made on YouTube event that was in New York that I was invited to a year ago. I know they had another one in LA like maybe 6 months ago, but they had one. And I saw this email came in and they invited me. So I get to go to New York again, hopefully, and do that. Or, you know, I just got an email today about the Vid Summit MCs and, you know, part of that planning. And there are times when you realize, oh, wait, people do see me. People do acknowledge. People are listening. And it's been a while since I've felt like I've had a lot to contribute to any of these conversations. I've had a long string of time where I felt like I didn't have a lot to give to these conversations, or I didn't have a lot to say where people were going to listen or respect it or welcome it or want it. And so just to be frank, I've been struggling in these last few months in what is my place online, in the educator space, in the teaching space, in the just online space. Like, where am I supposed to fit? And like, do I have value to be giving, or am I someone that should be listened to? And it gets really noisy sometimes when you're listening to outside sources, or when you're basing a lot of this stuff off of what success you see other people having and opportunities and what you yourself are getting. And so it becomes really difficult sometimes to, in this group where all of this is happening, to always feel like you have a lot to contribute or say or are valued. But that being said, when you find a group of people that still value who you are and have that to share, then it's really, really something. Because I'm on a dance team with my friends, and one of the girls that was on a team with me last year, we decided, because we didn't have practice this week, we had no practice this week for our team, that we were going to go out to a local place. And we went to a place and they had lessons. And we've been dancing for a while. So as we're doing it, we're like looking around at each other. We knew none of these dances, and we knew none of the people, and we knew like none of the songs. And we're just looking at each other like, it is a whole new world. It's a whole new world. And I was really thankful in that moment, one, to have her with me, but to like have her be part of my community that was just kind of like in it with me, to be like, I don't know what I'm doing either, but we're going to jump in there and try. Or, like, hey, I'm right here with you. I'm learning right beside you, and we're going to jump in and give this our best shot. And also to have someone who is just like, who's interested in you, and you have things in common to share and to do together. It's still something like exciting. So, I took a quick little video. Hey, Pixelpia, we're literally sitting in the back of this little honky tonk bar, and we're just both looking at each other like, and so I put like these little, like a filter on that gives us like glasses, like we're nerds, or like we're just newbies sitting here in the corner having no idea what's happening, and just like we're in this new place, we have no idea what any of the dances are, and I'm like, yet, but it's like, yet, but we're wanting to try, and we left there learning 2 new dances, and that was something. That really was. We had a good time, and it really solidified that, like, hey, not like, because we were kind of feeling like we don't belong in this space. There what are obviously very regulars at this place. They all know each other. They all know these dances. It's nothing like we've learned or known. And at least I was really glad to be there with her at that moment, because she's very adventurous in that, like, let's get in there and try it type of way. And so it is very similar to how I've felt recently, like just online, right? I'm in this space. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I hiding in a corner? Do I have anything to share? Do I have, but you get in there and you give it a shot. Maybe you come out with some bumps, bruises. I mean, definitely I got stepped on a little bit because there are a lot of people on that floor. And so that's another thing, get a lot of people that are in your space, literally, and they're all doing the same things. But at the end of the day, they want, there's some that always want to be the star, some just happy to be there, some that, really want to teach and all of that stuff. So it's very metaphorically close to like what you experience in real life is what you experience on that dance floor, right? You get the people kind of like living on that edge, on that outside wall, hanging on for dear life, trying to figure out what to do with themselves. People who are too afraid to get even on the floor. You have the people that are show-offy and showboaty, but like, that's their life and that's all they know how to do. And they, and, the people who are just trying to figure out where they fit in. Do I get out there? Do I do this stuff? Do I not? And, so again, in that moment, I was very thankful to have her there. But the whole community over competition part of it is that there are a lot of people out there that don't necessarily believe in that same type of thing. They're the people on the dance floor that, they're going to say, get off the floor if you don't know what you're doing, right? Which isn't the best, especially if you're in there and trying. It's one thing if you're going out there and making an ass of yourself and trying to like do the Running Man in a place that that that's not what they do there, they're in the middle of the honky tonk and you're like, nope, we're not doing that. Or, it's only people doing the waltz and you go out there and break into breakdancing. It's obvious some things don't always fit, but some things do. But there's some people that are going to like protect that space fiercely and be like, you can't be here. You can't be part of this. You can't be doing that. And then there's some people that are going to be like, hey, let's show you how to do this thing, And I like to believe that I am part of that crowd that is going to teach you how to do that thing. But I have felt like sometimes, as I'm teaching people to do that thing, like sometimes I'm like, should I be teaching? Do I know this? And then sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely know this. So I feel like that's very, very, very similar to how it's felt in the online space. So, but shout out to Samantha and Simbri for one, relaunching their new website, having that ethos, the creators and brands, creators and friends events, and kudos to them for the people that they brought in the companies. And one of the other companies that was at this latest Creators and Friends event is Cleona Cosmetics. Now, Cleona Cosmetics makes these beautiful, and my nail polish is Cleona Cosmetics, but they make these beautiful eyeshadows. And two things happened. One, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, I broke my beautiful little palette that had Cleona shadows in it, and it had this beautiful, gorgeous little like stained glass effect cover, and I was so bummed because it was just beautiful, and I broke it. My stupid ass, I just broke it. And then I had tagged them in at one point. They're like, what happened? And I'm like, oh, I'm just a dumbass. That's what happened. And it was maybe a month later, but they're like, oh, I don't even know what the story is. And you explain what happened. I'm like, oh no, it was just me. I broke something. And they're like, oh, we'll send you a new one. And I was like, because I'm stupid, you would send me a new one? Like, you don't have to do that. And obviously, they don't have to do that anyway, because it's not like I have referred a ton of sales to them. I haven't made a ton of videos for them. I haven't moved a lot of product for them, honestly. So it's very easy for them to just like write me off. It's like, we already gave you something on the Creators and Friends trip. You're not even a beauty content creator. But they were so kind about it, and they were so nice. And it just like, I was like, are you kidding me? And then I was like, wow. I had this screenshot because I frequently will get ready over on TikTok and TikTok live, because I'm like, hey, I have to get ready anyway, might as well go live in case anyone's on. Usually play music and you just kind of pop around and put on. And one of the looks that I was doing was for my performance that was on Saturday, which was my first performance back with the dance team that I'm on, because I've been out with the back injury. And one, it was really good to be back in the mix with my with my boot sisters, as we call each other. It just felt really good to be back out there and be dancing with them, because it's so much better than not dancing and not dancing with them. But I forgot that I was totally using a lot of the Cleona Cosmetics eyeshadows and whatnot during that get ready with me. So I went back and I took a screenshot. I'm like, look, this is the look I was using, and I was using your product, and they were just like, oh, that's so nice. And it was just like one of those nice moments where I was like, man, sometimes, they have no reason to like continually reach out or be nice, but they also then had sent me an email like, hey, we just launched these brand new eyeshadow palettes, and would you like one of them? And I was like, there is not a button that I can respond fast enough back with like, absolutely, oh my gosh, yes, please, for the love of all. And I looked, and there was one that's like, they're all gorgeous, but I was like, there's one with like all these browns and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, yes, this one. And like, they didn't have to do that. It was just really kind. Just like Ofra didn't have to do the thing where they sent the original palette. Just like Rhonda didn't have to say, hey, Ofra, send my friend Shelly this palette. Just like BK Beauty didn't have to, reach out and be kind. And so I am reminded, when you stack up all of these types of instances where you start to see it, where you're like, there are a lot of kind people in this community. And not only that, I reached back out to Lisa of BK Beauty, and I was like, hey, happy anniversary, for your brand. That's amazing. And I saw, Lyric and Sophia from your social team over on your TikTok. They're going live. They're, they're doing a great job. And she's like, am I going to see you at Vid Summit? Because, she's also out of Texas. And I was like, yes, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be one of the MCs. And it just made me really happy that it wasn't going to be one of those things where I met her once from the brand integration from the Creators and Friends event. I was never going to see her again. It was genuinely nice to talk to her, and it wasn't, I have this feeling where a lot of the time people have this trepidation from influencers maybe contacting them because they always want something, right? I want free product. I want free something. I want, and I feel bad because I don't want to be one of those people that just comes and says, hey, can you give me this? Can you give me this? Can you give me that? And I did kind of feel like, hey, can I get a discount code? And I remember saying, like, on the BK Beauty account, I was like, I don't want to bother Lisa. Would it be okay? Like, I'm not sure. And they were really kind about it. But I could see where a lot of the time they could get very nervous interacting with influencers where it's like, it's just continually wanting free stuff and and I never want to come across that way. And so it's nice when I could, last year at Vid Summit, because I did see Lisa there, and I said, hey, by the way, I want you to know, I brought a ton of your brushes with me down to Texas. And she's like, oh my God, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, oh my God, I took a photo because I put it on my phone. And I was like, look, like they're in like the little hotel, cup that you usually get for water. And I stuck my makeup brushes in there, and I was like, look, I swear, like I brought these with me. Like I love them. And it just made me happy. And like, cause she was smiling, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And, when I was down there, there was a girl that I was not the moderator. I was the room MC that day for them. And it was my old boss, Renee from TubeBuddy, formerly of TubeBuddy, and she was moderating the panel. It was Glam Girl Gabby and Emily D. Baker, which I always love seeing her. And so the three of them, and I got to even introduce Gabby, because it was Glam Girl Gabby, to Lisa from BK Beauty. And I'm like, oh my God, you're here. Like, have you met Gabby? And it just was like a really cool moment, because I think they had already connected, like at one point where someone had sent, or like Lisa had maybe sent her stuff, but she didn't know who it was. And so I like getting to introduce them face to face. I felt like I got to like do that connection, and it wasn't me just being like, hey Lisa, can I have some more makeup brushes? Like I felt like I had something of value to give back, even if it was just an introduction. And for Glam Girl Gabby, she was also like, gosh, it's so hard to make friends sometimes and in the beauty community. And I was like, oh my God, I can get you in touch with Samantha and Simbri for these events that they're doing. And, of which Lisa was just a sponsor. And so it feels like sometimes all of these things that are disconnected and make no sense in some way, sometimes as you are building your network, these things and the spider webs of these connections start to reveal themselves as to maybe not why things were working out the way that they were, but if you're looking, you start to see that you can either make connections or there could be connections. And I just think that when you step back and look at it, you know, like the meme with the guy on the whiteboard, like, it's all connected. Sometimes you come across those moments where you realize it's all connected. We're all in some weird way connected to one another and the experiences. And the more people that I start to talk with or chat with or connect, even if it's not necessarily beneficial to me, like it's beneficial to them / our community. And every once in a while I get a glimpse of that, and it's really nice to see that, because like I said, for so long I've been so bummed about, you know, why do I even go to these events, or why am I doing said things, or, you know, who am I to get these things, or you know, maybe I was meant to go on that trip so I could meet Lisa, so I could later, when I met Gabby, be able to feel comfortable enough to connect them, you know, or maybe I met someone and it was because of that was the reason that I was able to connect some other piece. And yeah, I just really wanted to share that with you, because if I was more in the mindset of only this, only for me, and only out for myself, as opposed to out for others and community and sharing and teaching, I think, one, the landscape would look a lot different, but I just think it would just be different overall. So let's talk about this. Unfortunately, hey, Johnny Bean, my back injection did not work. Got a shoulder injection this morning. Don't get old. Oh my gosh, I'm so right there with you. I was talking, so y'all remember last year I got into a car accident, right? I'm still dealing with insurance stuff, and I think it's finally going to be coming to a close. But I still deal with pain. Like, I still have back pain. And, you know, now I throw in the knee pain that I have with dancing and everything. Yeah, I feel you. Don't get old. So, Pixel says today she's in a lot of pain, and the way my back is pulling on my skin so bad. Can't wait for the nurse to come and change it tomorrow. Tomorrow can't come soon enough for that, I'm sure. So it was a week today, supposed to work in 3 days or so. Yeah. You know, I think I told y'all that I had the injection, the cortisone injection in my knee. And I was getting real antsy because they were like 4 or 5 weeks, you know. And then I went back and I talked to the doctor, and, you know, I was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm 65% of the way back, and that extra 5% with physical therapy, but I need that extra 30% for the rest of dancing and enjoying life and not really walking around in a lot of pain. And he was like, well, we could try this PRP therapy, because there's only so many cortisone shots you can have, not only in 6 months at a time, but like in your life. And so I think that's coming up in a couple of weeks, where we try this PRP, which is like your own blood oxygenated and then put back into you or something, to see if that might help as well. So I'm right there with you, because I've had 2 cortisone shots now, and one was in my back and it absolutely did not work. And one was in my knee and it absolutely did work. So I'm 50% on that. So Pixel P says community is the most important part for me. Absolutely. And I know that absolutely is true for you. And I have been kind of in that same, you know, I'm really trying to make sure that, you know, when my friends have launches, so another friend of mine, like I was saying, Simbri and Samantha, who launched that Creators and Friends events, they launched their new website. She just launched a brand new collaboration with Sigma today, and I couldn't be more excited. And, you know, I do want to talk about this one last thing real quick. Sometimes when people have collaborations or opportunities come along, a lot of people think the only way to support them is through financially, like buying some collab, and some people are like, I can't afford that. And here's the thing with that is support can come in so many different forms, whether it's, if you are a content creator, liking the post, sharing the post, leaving a comment on the post and retweeting it or anything like that. Any of those types of engagement type things, those can all still be so beneficial, whether it's for a small business, for your friend who's making content, just for someone whose message that you really align with. And a lot of people forget that those types of interactions and that type of give back is still really, really important. And it may not be something that is financially bound, but it is still something that's possible. Sometimes you're giving your time, right? Sometimes people give time, sometimes people give money, sometimes people give both. And I think some people believe erroneously that the only way to support their friends when they have a launch is to buy it. And sometimes you could go broke because if you're in the beauty community and let's say, and everyone launches something with some brand, sometimes you can't afford to buy all the things, right? And I think it's fine to say congratulations and leave a comment and to share about it on your own community page or, just retweet it. And those things still can be so important and valuable and they don't cost money, right? So let that be a whole other separate lesson though, is that you don't have to buy everything or spend all the money each time like one of these collaborations comes around. You can certainly support in other ways, just y'all being here. I understand and I love and I appreciate the people who are channel members like Pixelpia. I appreciate that. I also appreciate people like Adam's Exploits that shows up every week, tells me about his Poland Springs water and talks to me about other things and talks to you in the community. I appreciate people like Josiah who, show up and heart all of the lives and are trying to be there for me and giving their time and support that way. So even, if you're not buying a membership, if you're not doing a super chat, if you're not what are the other things that cost money? I don't know. Doing a Patreon, if you're not buying me a coffee, if you're not buying my products, if you're not, going to my Etsy shop and purchasing things, I still appreciate, y'all for showing up and being here. So Adam says, when I started reselling, I was watching tons of reselling channels and buying product for them. I still have things I have never listed, just trying to be a nice guy. I hear you, Shelly. Yeah. Yeah, and there is, I think, something to be, it's like sometimes you're like, am I doing this to be nice? Am I doing this to show support? I think they could also be like, I know that you still support me even if you're not buying things from me, right? Because you show up and you leave comments and you share or those types of things. Those all count. And, I think community, I think it's so interesting when everyone that I am on YouTube, or I'm coaching, they're always like, well, I want to get to 1,000 or I want to get to whatever. I want to get to, and I'm like, that's great. It's always great to have goals. And I said the same, right? Like over on my beauty channel, I want to hit 618 more hours so I can get monetized or whatever else it is. But at the end of the day, it is about the community. It is about, it's hard sometimes if you're going to be like, okay, I understand that you're getting like stars in your eyes about all of this, but it's like, what are you doing to take care of the community that you have now? How are you making them feel special? Because if you can't, when there's only 10, how are you going to do that when you have 10,000, right? And unless it's just a shallow, like, oh my God, I love you guys. Do you? Do you even know who I am? Do you know that I live, I don't know. So, yeah, see, and you love showing love and support. See, I think it's important. And I think that it's nice because it means a lot when people show up each week and they're here and they're commenting and they're throwing up some hearts and they're, talking with each other, because it wouldn't be nearly as much fun to show up and talk to myself. If I wanted to do that, I just record a video. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm excited that every once in a while, it's not all the time, but every once in a while I get this glimpse of the spider webs of how all of these things are interconnected. And if you thought that it was all circular, when I was talking about the people that were just launching these collaborations, that were just, talking about these companies, that they're launching these websites and stuff, and you're like, you're talking about the same people. I'm like, yeah, it's community, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's kind of interesting that way. So also, side note, if you are interested in being some of the 618 hours that I need to get monetized, feel free to go check out some videos over on the beauty channel. Got lots of stuff in ways of underconsumption, like declutters and things I'm getting rid of and things that I've like finished. Or just if you want to hear about the new collaboration that my friend launched, there you go. You can talk about that. Okay, I'm going to go grab dinner. I need that boot sponsor. Oh my God, you have no idea. I had it in my little heart of hearts that I would have a boot sponsor by VidSummit, that I would be sponsored by Old Gringo. I was manifesting it, right? I even have that short 30-second video that I clipped out from a live stream. I was like putting it out in the universe. Old Gringo, sponsor me, because I would love to be wearing those boots when I hit the VidSummit stage come. It's like a month from now, y'all. It's like a month. And I was just like, you know what though? It's okay. Maybe next year. I really do want that boot sponsorship though. It's not like I'm lacking in boots. So is it just me being greedy? It's, but here's what I've decided to do though. I want you to know this. The YouTube boots, right? So I never thought I'd wear them again. They were retired boots. However, I have decided that if I'm going to bling them, I'm going to go to a YouTube conference. There's no better time than now. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to see all the black. I am going to bling those in black. So everywhere that's black, I'm using black crystals, except I'm not paying for crystals. I'm paying for like these little resin ones. So I'm getting black resin ones, which are a lot cheaper and not as shiny. And I'm going to bedazzle all of the black with black rhinestones. And you may be like, it's black. But like, no. I just have this like vision that once the light hits them, it's going to look awesome. And if I think about it, really, what better conference than a YouTube conference to bring these boots to, right? I mean, come on. So that is part of my project, is I'm going to be boot blinging these, the YouTube boots in black everywhere you see black. So community is more than a creator. It is the connections you create in chat and comments as well. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I love that you guys show up and support each other. You're talking to each other. See, I love that that Pixelpia, is recovering just as Adam's, you guys are caring about each other. So I love that about our community, that that about each other. We're over here, like Mark and Joshai are talking to each other because they hang out with each other and me on Sunday nights, on Sad Song Sundays. So it's awesome that we have these little pockets of, friends/community. So yes, manifest it for me, would ya? Old Gringo, we're going to sponsor. But the backup plan is I'm going to be spending a lot of hours, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to bedazzle all those boots. The YouTube boots. I'm going to bedazzle the YouTube boots in black. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be really good. So, yeah, we'll do that. Anyways, I'm going to go grab dinner. I thank you all for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. And just know that sometimes the universe it's not keeping score, but it is looking out for us, right? I guess that's the best way to put that. So I appreciate you all. I'll see you in a video very soon. And I hope you have an amazing day.